Hi, I'm Connor. In this short video, I will show you how to set up a Trados project with a translation memory and termbase. Let's get started. Before we begin, I want to first discuss the difference between a translation memory and a termbase. Both are important, but why? A translation memory, or a TM, stores entire sentences, or segments. A termbase, on the other hand, stores individual words or terms. Both are important to ensure that your translations are consistent over a long period of time. It can be tempting to translate in Microsoft Word or Google Docs because it's easy and straightforward, but when you do that, you're missing out on these really helpful features that help improve the quality of your work. So let's make a new project with both of them. To begin, open Trados. Hit the Projects button at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. There should now be a button that says New Project at the top left-hand corner of the screen. Click this button and the project wizard should appear. If you see a little drop-down menu show up, click New Local Project and it will bring you to the same screen. Here's where we can set up our new project. I'm going to name this project something simple that describes what I'm working on. I'll name it UN Security Council 1994 meeting, but you can call your projects whatever you want. Next, I'll hit Browse, next to Location Path, to choose where I save the project on my computer. I like to have a different folder for each client I work for, so I'll save this project in the folder for this particular client. Next, you can select the source language of the document you're working on. The original language of the document I'm going to translate is simplified Chinese, so I'm going to type Chinese on my keyboard, then scroll down a little further to Chinese simplified China. By default, Trados might have some languages here already, but I don't want those, so I'm going to click Clear All in the top right. Once I do that, I can click anywhere in this white space to open up the language menu. Just like before, I'll type English, then scroll down to English, United States. The last thing we need to do on this screen is add the file we want to translate. Click this little icon with a white document and a blue plus sign. Now, you can browse to where the document is on your computer. My file is located in my Downloads folder, so I'm going to go there, then double-click on my file to add it to my project. You should see the name of the file show up here in this box on the right. Hit Next at the bottom of the screen. You can see at the top of this window that we have advanced from one step to general. We can mostly ignore what's on this page, so click Next again. Now I'm in Translation Resources. We can add a translation memory to our project from here. In the left-hand column, I'm going to select Translation Memory and Automated Translation. The name sounds kind of intimidating, but don't worry, we can ignore a lot of the buttons on this screen. If you already have a translation memory on your computer, you can click Use, and then File-Based Translation Memory, and navigate to it on your computer. If you don't worry, it only takes a few seconds to make a new one. Click Create, and a new window should pop up. I'm going to name this file something with a name that makes it clear what's inside my translation memory, which I'll call TM from now on. I'll call it United Nations CHCN ENUS. If you want to add a description, you can do that here. Next, we need to select where we want to save our TM. Because I'm going to use this file again and again over a long period of time, it should be saved somewhere that's easy to find and won't get lost. I'll save it to a folder on my desktop for now. Last, we need to select the source and target languages for our TM. The original versions of these documents are Chinese, so I'll make source language be Chinese, simplified China, and the target English, United States. Click Finish and then Close. You should now see the TM you just made now pop up in this window. It should be automatically enabled, so you don't need to do anything else. Now, we can add a termbase to our project by clicking Next to get to the termbases screen. If you have a termbase already, you can click Use, and then File-Based Multi-Term Termbase, and navigate to it on your computer. If you don't, click Create, and New File-Based Termbase. Once this wizard window appears, hit Next. In this new screen, there's a bunch of options we can choose from. I think the easiest thing to do is to select Use a predefined term-based template and select Bilingual Glossary. You can also select Multilingual Glossary if you're translating into multiple languages. Hit Next. Here's where we want to give our termbase a name. The phrase friendly name sounds kind of weird to me, but this just means it's the name that shows up from inside the program as opposed to the name of the file itself. You can name it anything that makes it easier for you to recognize. So I'll just write United Nations CHCN ENUS and then hit Next. Here, German and English will probably be here already by default. Keeping English for me is okay, but I want to remove German, so I'll click on it, then click Remove in the middle of the screen. You should see it go away, and only English here on the right now. Click this language dropdown and scroll down to your second language. Mine is Chinese, so I'll type the letter C, then scroll down a little bit further to get to Chinese. If you want specific regional locales, you can go back and click the checkbox for Show Sublanguages. When you open the dropdown again, you should see a bunch of new options appear. Now, instead of just Chinese, I can select Chinese, Simplified China if I wanted. Now, just click the Add button to add it to your termbase. Click Next. Because I created my termbase from a bilingual template, I can actually skip the next few screens. I'll hit Next, Next, and then Finish. Our termbase is ready to be used. It should show up in this window here, along with a little green check mark on the right. At this point, we don't really need to worry about the other steps in the project creation process, so we can hit Done. I'll just click Next a few times to show you what my other settings are, just in case. Congratulations! You just finished creating your project. It should now appear on screen. You can double click on it to open your project, and then double click on the file you want to translate. You're ready to start working. You should now know how to create a new project with a translation memory and termbase in Trados.